Hey guys, Joe here, and welcome to um alternate future of um Africa. So we're gonna be starting our video with the average Africa situation. So yeah, that seems all well. Mm-hmm. Yes. So Africa has way more conflicts than Europe does. Um, and let's just color these two in with all their chaos in their lands. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is Africa at this point, and we will be starting off with these conflicts and resolving them for this episode. The DR Congo will invade into itself. However, Rwanda is of course able to push back as they have been doing. However, deciding that they don't like Rwanda, the EAF will join the conflict. Now, Rwanda is one of the more developed countries and in Africa, and much of the rest of the world wouldn't want this to happen. So the US and China together will start flowing aid into Rwanda, and they're able to push back. The US is able to convince Kenya to switch sides, and that just these are probably the two most developed out of these countries, and now they're just the blue team loses a lot as Tanzania is pushed back and switches sides, as well as Uganda, leaving Burundi the only one that was actually conquered. With now the entire EAF minus themselves going against them, the DR Congo is unable to do that. And a couple, China and America pull some things together in a rare show of friendship, and ginormous in yeah, a rebellion pops up in the DR Congo. Now they weren't they what they wanted was this to destabilize the Congo. They didn't want it to take over the Congo, and it doesn't. It is taken over instead by um these countries. And yeah, the DR Congo is just destroyed. People down here will gratefully join the rebellion, and the DR Congo just surrenders, and that conflict is over for now. That may resurface later, but we will look at that peace treaty. T T T T. So in this peace treaty, many a thing will happen. Now, little issue with me doing this peace treaty. I don't know anything about the goals of M23, so I'm just gonna give them an independent state here. And Rwanda will annex Burundi. However, they will begin to slowly begin development towards making the EAF. And how do they do this? Well, Rwanda and Uganda unite. Oh, they rhyme. Rwanda, Uganda. And Tanzania and Kenya unite, who do not rhyme, by the way, so I'm angry at them. And eventually these two will unite to form the EAF. which by the way means East African Federation. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. But yeah. So that will happen eventually. Anyway, up here to this mess. Um, Sudan is able to push back against these. However, these make up here, and then these take this, which by the way is the capital of Sudan. And then Sudan just falls apart. However, Sudan does not fall apart as they break the spearhead and retake their capital and then offer peace to these rebels. The rebels are like rebel, 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 and then they peace. Now, one thing that these rebels do is they stop disputing this region with South Sudan, so that is official South Sudanese territory now. However, South Sudan is forced to retreat to their own problems, and it becomes independent de facto, not entirely de facto. This area will become de facto too. Well, not actually de facto. Actualato. Khartoum is like right here, so the Sudanese should probably be worried about that. And if it's not there, then it moves there. Well, if it's in the territory of Darfur, then it moves there. However, Sudan will still be red as they are invading South Sudan. The Purple Rebellion takes major gains in North-South Sudan, and humanitarian aid begins flowing in to Darfur and this de facto independent countries. They're no longer involved in conflicts. South Sudan will be able to push those back. However, Sudan pushes in and takes it over. And also, I forgot to do this, but I forgot to uncolor all these people down here. Oh, well. There we go. And Sudan will take over South Sudan, and the area will be part of. Now, Sudan, you might be expecting to just take over all of South Sudan. However, they don't. Here's what they do. They take over parts of South Sudan. And they also may have been may have been expecting this, but they ban South Sudan from invading this de facto state and force both themselves. Well, they don't force themselves. They themselves recognize it and force South Sudan to. However, South Sudan also has to recognize their control over this one. And basically with both the countries who would have claimed it recognizing it, and soon with Darfur, not Chad and Central African Republic recognizing it. Basically, the entire world has to recognize it because there's no country near it who could claim it. So, yeah. And basically, here I have a fix for this. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, Somalia falls. You didn't. Okay, so you thought that Somalia would win. Well, think again, my little pawn. It will just go like this. Whoa. Sorry for that long period of silence. Something weird popped up on my screen and it was making me do stuff. that has to do with a recording for another video that will be posted shortly. Well, actually, this video will be posted after that one, so. So I suppose I can tell you what that one is. What if World War II was Rita did the modern day? If you haven't seen it yet, you go watch it. It's weird saying that if it's not posted yet, but yeah. Thank you for watching this episode. Please like and subscribe. We're trying to reach 100 subscribers by 2026, and I'll see you.